What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. The Lakers, like I mentioned earlier, they had a 4-game winning streak going into that Minnesota Timberwolves game, and then LeBron James comes down with flu-like symptoms, and then Anthony Davis ends up re-aggravating an eye injury that he had a little while back, and so he only played 12 minutes. The Lakers were +4 in his minutes. That didn't matter. The Timberwolves pretty much controlled and dominated that game. Every Laker was slotted into a pretty difficult role, and they weren't able to hold up against Minnesota. But as many of you guys know, I've been pointing out on this show lately that the Lakers have been really good for a long time. Since January 7th, they're 28-15. That is the 5th best record in the league in that span. That's a 43-game sample size, too. That's more than half the season. As a matter of fact, I had this comment yesterday on the video from somebody saying, like, oh, Jason got off the Lakers bandwagon and now he's trying to jump back on. And this is like literally, I think, one of the funniest types of comments that I get when like we have a sample size of information and I feel a certain way about it. And then we have new information and I feel a different way about it. And now I'm accused of changing my mind. This is new information. Specifically, what got me off the Lakers bandwagon was they didn't address a personnel weakness, specifically at the point of attack. And to that point in the season, they were a bad offense. They were a bad offense that also had a severe defensive weakness. And so they weren't even like the Lakers from last year, where it was like their offense was pretty mediocre. But at the very least, between Dennis Schroeder and Jared Vanderbilt, they had a really good perimeter defense core to kind of like take some of those matchups, and Anthony Davis anchoring things. And that was how they won down the stretch from the Russell Westbrook trade through to the end of the season, even through to the Western Conference Finals. It was defense. He beat the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs with defense. That was what they did. The revelation with this Laker team has been on the offensive end of the floor. Since January 7th, they are 4th in offensive rating. They've been a dominant offense in this league for a very long time. They're 2nd in offensive rating since February 1st. They're scoring in the paint like crazy. They're 2nd in points in the paint per 100 possessions over this 43-game span. They're 2nd in three-point percentage. Remember at the beginning of the season when I kept talking about how like these guys just aren't shooting very well, but there's some good shooters. I'm hoping that these guys start making shots. They've been making shots, and they lit up a Cavs team that has really good defensive personnel, although they've had their struggles with defense as of late. But the point that I'm getting at here is this is fundamentally a different Lakers team than really any version of the Lakers that we've seen in the LeBron James, Anthony Davis era. Going back to 2019, before AD got there, the year they won the title, in 2020 even. 2021, 2022, 2023, they were a mediocre to bad offense consistently. And essentially what has happened is through adding D'Angelo Russell, the development of Austin Reeves, adding Rui Hachimura last year before the deadline, the addition of the 5-out offense, which was a real struggle early in the season. And there was actually a point in the middle of the season where Darvin Ham kind of went away from it for a little while. Then they went back to it, and it's kind of clicked in a lot of ways. And their offensive skill at every single position group has made that attack work. And there's been a bunch of different reasons why. And so I wanted to go into the film today from this matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers to just kind of talk about some of the ways that the Lakers have been having success offensively. So let's get over to the film. Okay, so this first clip that I wanted to demonstrate for you guys, you remember how I've been talking about how Rui Hachimura ends up getting favorable matchups and can have a lot of success as a result? This is an example against the Cavs where they're going up like they're going to run offense, but they identify that Rui Hachimura has Georges Niang on him. So because Max Strus has to take a higher leverage assignment, Donovan Mitchell has to take a higher leverage assignment. Jared Allen has to guard Anthony Davis. Karis LeVert is on D'Angelo Russell. As a result, you're getting Rui Hachimura with Georges Niang on him. So he's got the weakest defender on the floor. Rui Hachimura has been a very, very good on an island scorer this year. He's been way over a point per possession in post-up situations as well. And he's just going to take Georges Niang down to the block, back him down. Anthony Davis, because he was kind of standing here at the elbow, Jared Allen was kind of digging down in his way. So AD is going to cut through to get Jared Allen out of there. That opens up this space for Rui to get to his right shoulder fade. And he does a really nice job here of initiating some contact. Watch him kind of drop that shoulder and displace Niang and then get up into the lane for his little patented little fall away that he knocks down. Those are favorable matchups that Rui's getting every single game. This is a big part of why, like, even with, I talk about the pros and cons of different types of data that we use in the NBA. That's why even point per possession data has its limitations, because part of the reason why Rui has been so damn efficient in the post this year is he's consistently getting super favorable matchups down there. So the story of this particular game against Cleveland was the Lakers attacking a very specific type of pick and roll coverage that the Cavs were using. So the vast majority of teams that are serious basketball teams run different coverages for different spots on the floor. Every team that I played for on side pick and rolls, we did what was called an ice coverage, which essentially involves, in this situation, as this ball screen is going to get set, Darius Garland's entire job is to deny Austin the use of the screen and funnel him back towards the baseline or the sideline side. And then Jared Allen is supposed to effectively catch him down here in this short corner area. So what you're going to see here, watch how Darius Garland jumps way up on Austin's high side. All he's doing is forcing him to go away from the screen. Jared Allen's there to catch. And what the Cavs were doing all game long is when Jared Allen would catch this ball handler coming off of the rejected ball screen, they would use Evan Mobley or whoever was guarding the guy up top, but it was typically LeBron. And so they'd use Evan Mobley to tag Anthony Davis, and they were leaving LeBron James open at the top of the floor. So this first time through, the ball gets worked to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis hits LeBron at the top of the key. And again, LeBron's been absolutely deadly in catch and shoot situations this year. But keep in mind, that is just an example. We're going to see a bunch of those ice coverages here through the rest of this kind of video thread that we're going through. Here's the exact same type of concept. Now, what I think is super interesting here, D'Lo is going to set an impromptu screen on Jared Allen to prevent him from getting to his spot in the ice coverage. Remember, same exact concept. Austin's got the ball. AD is going to come up and set the ball screen. But because D'Lo is screening Jared Allen, Jared is supposed to be down here. He's supposed to be down here to catch when Austin rejects the screen and basically drives into him so that they can use these other guys to kind of dig down on Anthony Davis. D'Lo's screen makes it so, because look, AD's not cutting. AD's not going to the rim. He's not back screening Jared Allen so that AD can get a lob. He's back screening Jared Allen because he knows what the coverage is. D'Lo just watched them run an ice coverage. He's trying to stop Jared Allen from being able to do his job. AD goes to set the pick. Donovan Mitchell jumps way high side. Did you see how Donovan Mitchell jumped way on that high side there? Again, forcing Austin back towards that sideline side. As he makes his move, watch Jared Allen. Now his feet are crossed and he's sprinting to get back into that position to catch Austin. That allows Austin to cross him over. So Austin beats him with the crossover, gets all the way to the rim for a layup. That entire sequence is set up by D'Angelo Russell setting a random screen on Jared Allen to prevent him from getting to where he's supposed to be. If Jared is just standing here, then when Austin rejects the screen, it's going to be much harder for him to cross him over. Watch Jared Allen's momentum and watch Austin cross him over as a result of the screen. See that? Such an interesting little kind of like trick that D'Angelo Russell uses, randomly setting screens. Keep that in mind because there's a couple more of those coming up here in the thread. So one of the most common types of actions that the Lakers like to run with LeBron is have either Austin or D'Lo screen for LeBron and then slip the action. The reason why is because most teams don't want to allow this smaller defender to get switched onto LeBron where he can take them to task using his size, right? So Austin is going to go and fake like he's going to set a screen. Donovan's supposed to be hedging here, but he's kind of on his heels. But essentially, he's going to hang around because the hedger's job, this guy has one responsibility. Before he recovers to Austin, he has to stop LeBron from driving. So he's going to hang around long enough, and Austin's literally just going to slip behind the action. And because Mobley and Mitchell are both up there, Austin gets an easy layup. We're going to see another one of those here in a minute as well. Same exact type of thing. We got LeBron here. D'Lo's going to set the screen. Karis LeVert is going to hedge. Also, D'Lo is going to set a little wedge back screen for AD first. The back screen's not open. So here's where we're going to get that screen. So now D'Lo is going to set a screen for LeBron. Watch Karis LeVert hedge. You could see him hop out high side. All he has to do is stop LeBron from driving this way. Now D'Lo's slipping. He's behind both guys. As soon as he catches on the slip, Max Strus comes over and tags D'Lo. D'Lo throws a one-timer tap pass to Rui Hachimura in the corner. He actually misses this three. That's a really high-quality shot that the Lakers generate. Once again, guard screening for LeBron, waiting for the hedge, slipping the action to get onto the backside. Now we're going to get another. This is a really cool sequence. Do you guys remember this massive dunk? Let's just watch it all the way through first. This was the biggest highlight of the game, right? We get the Austin Reeves lob to LeBron James. Nasty dunk. Very, very cool, right? This is what's fascinating to me about this. In the context of everything we've been talking about with the coverage, this was a premeditated, planned counter from LeBron James and Austin Reeves, okay? So you can see LeBron throw the ball to Austin and point to him. They clearly have had some sort of conversation. Austin and LeBron, at some point, whether it was during a timeout or some sort of stoppage, they clearly discussed exactly what they were going to do here. So we're going to get the exact same action that we saw earlier. They're setting up to run this ball screen, but as they're getting ready to run it, look at Mitchell. Mitchell's way on the high side, right? Because he's way on the high side, AD doesn't even bother to set the screen because there's no reason for him to set the screen because he's not going to be able to actually use it. So Austin has one job here. Mitchell, because he's playing the high side, is gifting Austin that driving lane to the right. AD knows all I have to do is just kind of meander down here into the lane and Evan Mobley is going to tag me because we know every single one of these side pick and rolls that they've run all game, Evan Mobley's been tagging. So now watch. Austin's already looking at LeBron. He's literally been looking at him this whole time. As soon as he kind of gets going, he's looking back at LeBron right now. And LeBron's got his eye on him. He's already getting ready for this cut. And because Mobley is tagging AD so that Jared Allen can catch while Austin is rejecting the ice, LeBron is able to cut with a free runway down the middle. Austin just throws it up high to him. So again, we look at that in the flow of a game and we think, oh, just defensive breakdown or something, and maybe it's just LeBron's amazing, maybe it's just an incredible pass. No, that was a chess move. The chess move was Cleveland was running the same exact coverage, defending 3-on-2 against the side pick and rolls for the Lakers. LeBron and Austin had a chat, they had a counter in mind, and they got a wide open dunk out of it. Alrighty. Here's a good example of another kind of like ghost screen kind of action with D'Lo, and an example of how you can use the hedge and recover to drag the defender further out. So Merrill's guarding D'Lo. D'Lo's going to set the screen on Marcus Morris. Okay? Remember, Merrill's hedging. Merrill cannot recover to D'Lo until he is cut off this driving lane. Morris is compromised. If Merrill leaves, LeBron's going downhill. He's dunking on everybody. So Merrill has a job here in this hedge to not rotate back to D'Lo until Marcus Morris can get back in position to get in front of LeBron. This leaves D'Lo wide open. LeBron does this kind of thing a lot where he's driving down on his right side and he just whips it backwards. It's kind of like an around the back pass, but it's almost like straight back instead of around the back because D'Lo's in that position. LeBron's reading it the whole time. He knows this is D'Lo's man, and he's just going to whip it right back to D'Lo, who's wide open for three. So again, the hedge has a responsibility. He's not allowed to recover until he cuts off the driving angle. That's going to be important because when we talk Heat Pacers, the Heat, Tyler Herro makes a critical mistake in a hedge at the end of the game that we're going to get to. So that's why I wanted to kind of include that play. Also an example of the problems that the Lakers present offensively, but an example of that specific coverage. All right. Now, the Cavs can't get a stop, right? We're 9 minutes into the second, or not even 3 minutes into the second quarter, and the Lakers almost have 50 points already. Cavs go zone. Lakers run down. Essentially, what they have set up here, because it's an even front, they've got their three guards on the perimeter for the two guards up top. LeBron is setting up a flash cut to the high post, right? In every 2-3 zone, that's the soft spot. The soft spot is the middle of the floor in the 2-3. LeBron catches here, and as soon as he catches here, it puts these guys in a predicament because they're defending 3-on-2, right? And look at LeBron. LeBron draws Evan Mobley on the catch, and Niang knows we're always going to give up a three before we give up a layup. So Niang is diving down. LeBron kind of like throws a little pass fake and then hits it out to Taurean Prince on the wing. Again, it's just going to be hard to zone the Lakers when they have a guy that can catch the ball in the middle of the floor who can make good decisions and everybody around them can make shots. Again, they're second in three-point percentage since January 7th, this 43-game stretch. All right, last play to kind of demonstrate some of the kind of quirky stuff the Lakers do to generate high-quality offense. LeBron's going to throw a crazy cut with the back screen from Gabe Vincent to try to get Evan Mobley on a switch in the post because Morris is just a little stronger, gets the switch, okay? Now LeBron's posting up, and watch D'Lo here. D'Lo is going to set an impromptu screen to try to trigger a switch that is baked into Cleveland's defensive scheme. So we talked about hedging on LeBron because they don't want to let these little guys get onto LeBron, right? But if a guard-guard screen occurs, the vast majority of teams are just going to switch a guard-guard screen. So D'Lo is going to run up. See how he's pointing? D'Lo points to Gabe and runs up to back screen Merrill, which in theory would trigger a switch. Darius Garland would then run out onto Gabe, and Merrill would take D'Lo, right? D'Lo's trying to trigger that switch. So he runs up and sets it, okay? Runs up to set. Garland is now going to kind of take a lunge step out towards Gabe as if they're going to switch. But who's got the inside position here? D'Lo has the inside position. So he now has effectively forced or baited Cleveland into switching Merrill onto D'Lo. While he has inside position, he's just going to slip right back inside for a layup. How easy is that? Like D'Lo's so good at that kind of shit. That just kind of like quirky, kind of nifty stuff to take advantage of the defensive scheme that's on the table. We talked about earlier, Lakers running a pick and roll. The Cavs are in an ice coverage. He screens the ice big to make it so that he's out of position and Austin can cross him over. Completely random, generates a layup. Same sort of thing here. This is all he's doing. He's pointing and baiting. This is all a giant setup to basically back screen, slip. And again, Garland, the only reason Garland takes that lunge step out and gets out this far is he's thinking he's going to be switching on to Gabe Vincent. Easy layup. So again, the combination here and what makes this all work is you've got two guys in Anthony Davis and LeBron James that can set screens and easily slip and easily get into the paint and finish in traffic and make reads when the defense collapses on him. Again, a lot of people don't realize this because the Lakers don't drive the basketball a ton, but they've consistently been one of the biggest, best paint offenses in the league. They attempt almost all of their shots, or the vast majority of their shots compared to the rest of the league, inside of 5 feet from the basket. That's what they do. That's why they get to the foul line so much. Everyone always thinks the Lakers get a ton of foul calls because it's some sort of league-wide conspiracy. No, it's because they take almost all their shots right by the basket. And they've got guys that are good at drawing fouls, guys like Anthony Davis, guys like Austin Reeves, right? That's a big part of their attack. On the outside, they're a knockdown three-point shooting team, second best three-point percentage team since January 7th. Every single guy is capable of attacking closeouts and extending advantages. Rui gets mismatches all the time. They can run guard actions, inverted ball screens to get their guards slipping into open spaces. It is just an overwhelming amount of offensive skill with interior paint forces of Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis to tie it all together. And that's why they've been dominating teams offensively. And again, like, go back to that YouTube comment I was talking about. When things were going really bad for the Lakers, and remember, they were 17-19 at one point. When they were 17-19, you're right. I was kind of off the bandwagon. And the way I've been kind of talking about the tiers, I have Boston and Denver on this tier, right? And then I have like a ton of teams in that second tier. But then there's like a tier below that are the teams that are clearly lesser than that, right? That's where I have like the Pelicans and the Kings and teams like that, right? I had the Lakers in that tier until their offense exploded. And with their offense exploding, I now put them back in that middle tier. In order to ever have a chance to get up into that Denver and Boston tier, I thought they needed to make a significant personnel upgrade at the deadline. Like, had they got a Bruce Brown, had they got a DeJounte Murray, a guy who can really contend on the perimeter and generate dribble penetration on his own, I would have been more kind of inclined to think of the Lakers as an upper tier team. But I still believe that those personnel weaknesses will be an issue. When we get to our contender rankings, you guys are going to hear in more detail the reasons why I'm not as high on LA's chances as some people are. That said, I do think their offense is real. It's an extended stretch of them being really, really hard to guard. I do think they're a better offensive team than they were last year by a sizable margin. I do think that gives them their puncher's chance, their proverbial puncher's chance. That's going to put them into that middle tier.